What's up, everybody? This is a Spare with a Gun from Sleepless Nights, back with another episode of How to Train Your Turtle. Just a couple minor tweaks to the Rainmaker script. I did some more testing and I kept getting an error on this line that was like way too long without yielding or something like that. And when I investigated it, it had to do with how Computercraft processes the event and that it was waiting for it, but in the way it was waiting for it, it ended up getting confused or something. I don't remember. So what I ended up doing, based on what I read online, was I added this line that basically is going to check for the redstone event, and then, I'm not entirely sure how this works, if it pauses and keeps looping until it gets the redstone event and then moves on, or if this actually just loops and keeps going. I'm not really sure, but this line is supposed to end up fixing everything, I guess. So we're going to reboot that. And I actually have enough iodine capsules now that I have more than a couple, so I can actually test this to see if it works. And I'm going to go ahead and run this. If I can remember, it's make it rain. Yeah, there it is. If I can, what I'm going to do is set this up. It should be making it rain. Actually, I'll just do it in here, that's fine. And then while this is running, we're going to do something else today, but it's basically going to keep running, and if it works correctly, then we'll just keep looking out and it'll just keep raining. That's the idea. Eventually, is it ever going to rain? Maybe? It always seems like it takes forever. But maybe, yes, I'm working on, I've been doing some remodeling in here. Trying to get it all beautified. Okay, what's going on? Why is it not doing anything? Oh, get out of here. Go on. It's got iodine capsules. See, what I don't get is stuff like that when it says, like, I got a response from the turtle, but it doesn't seem like anything happened, really. Maybe it did. Oh, maybe it did. Yep, it did. Yep, it did. Okay, so it is raining. Giddy, giddy, giddy. Giddy, giddy, giddy. Yeah, so that should be good. What I want to do is I'm going to use Leonardo here. What I want to do is basically revise or refine, I guess is a better word, the Excavate command. Now, one thing I want to check though, I want to run a quick test. Let's see what wow, I've had Leonardo a while. I have a bunch of programs on him. Tree. Some of these I don't even remember. Ceiling. Yeah, I don't even remember half of this crap. Oh, yes, and I don't think I brought this up in my other videos, but the floor script I mentioned earlier about making a script that would do construction foam flooring, I can still do it if you guys want me to. I mean, let me know in the comments or a message or something like that, and I will definitely pursue it. But it is definitely, I was thinking into the logistics of it, and it's going to be a far more complicated project than I originally anticipated. Enough to where it actually, I think, is a little faster for me to just go in and do the floor and walls by hand that way, which I'm not really even sure I'm going to stay with. I've been looking at it and thinking about it, and I may end up changing the wall material. So I may not even stick with the construction foam anyway, but it was basically like I had to have one with scaffolding and the sprayer, and it had to go through, and when it ran out of spray, then it would turn around, drop a crafting turtle, spit out the sprayer and the pellets, and then it was supposed to reorganize everything and then craft it and spit it back to him, and he picked, like, it was complicated. And then I got thinking about, if you use the construction foam, all of the scaffolding drops. And I'm not sure the turtle would pick up the scaffolding or anything, or if it would just move, because it just moves over. And I don't know if I could tell it to move down into the foam, or if it would see it as a block. So there were a lot of different things involved that I can still try and do it if you guys are interested in seeing something like that. But as far as for me, just a personal project that I was going to do, I don't think I'm going to pursue that anymore. But I ran into a couple of issues. Excuse me. I don't know what that was. I ran into a couple issues. I gotta find all the holes in my floor with the standard excavate command. And what I realized that some of this wasn't finished. Like, when I did my quarries and everything, like that chunk, well, not chunk as in Minecraft chunk, but there we go. Did it hit? Did it hit? Did it hit? Did it hit? It looks like it hit. That looks like a hit. Oh yeah, it hit. That's awesome. I'm gonna scrap. Okay. Like, this section here is uneven. I need to finish tearing out the rest of this, and then this wall needs to be cut out, and then that chunk needs to be cut out, and I gotta finish removing that. As you can see, I started to get rid of this bottom part because I want to start doing some stuff with tanks. Over here, this back corner area is going to be my tank area, I think. But the problem is stuff like this. This is my main reason for wanting to redesign the excavate command, because I want to get rid of this. I know I could use a quarry and everything, but then you know, it's how to train your turtle. I mean, come on. So basically, I want to get rid of this section up here, but excavate goes all the way down to bedrock, which, oh, look what's beneath it, my storage room. Yeah, that wouldn't go well. I don't want to do that. So I've kind of run into a bit of a pickle in that regard. So what I want to do is, and excavate is a perfect square, so like if you put excavate 30, it's 30 by 30, and I want to do something like, what if I want to do 30 by 15 or something like that. And so in that regard, let me just make sure before I run this, its X is at 56, and I have some of the, this stuff is not 56. Okay, so that shouldn't be a problem. This is eventually probably going to be my secret area down to all of this, but, you know, I want to build an elevator system, I think, if I can figure out how to do that. Anyways.
My name is Carolyn.
Hush up, Carolyn. But so, yeah. I want to revise the excavate so I can do specific X and Z, I guess, in Minecraft, and then Y, so that it doesn't always go down to bedrock. But if I don't specify, then I want it to behave accordingly. So that's what I want to work on today. The other thing is that, as you can see, like right there, you put a chest and a turtle. But with the standard excavate command, when it's running, if it gets like way down here, it's got to come all the way back up to the chest to then put stuff into the chest. And normally that's understandable, because typically the turtles were programmed with the idea of standard chests, gold chests, you know, that kind of thing. Things that if you broke them, all their stuff would fall out anyway, so that wouldn't be a good idea. But for me, I have an ender chest hooked up with a sorting system. So for me, I find that it would be more efficient for it to simply turn around, place a chest, drop stuff in, pick the chest back up, and keep going. This is still the same storm, I guess. So that's what I want to start working on. is a revised excavate command. In terms of what to call it, what other programs do I already have? I think... I think I'm gonna call this... I'm thinking something like dig or something, because I don't want to... I don't know. Mine, maybe? That would be a pretty good one, I think. Mine. So mine. Alright. So let's start off with our variables. Actually, you know what? Okay. I'm gonna actually do it on here. Oh, no, I can't do it on here. Pooh. Okay, well. Oh well. Now first, that's usually where I got stuck, so let's make sure it's doing okay. Yeah, sorry, it's a little disjuncting. Okay, good, no errors. And if it rains in a minute, we'll know. Okay, good, it's raining, alright, so... it usually gets to this point, but then the next one is where it stops. So if it proceeds another loop, then we'll know. So let's start off by doing our variables. And then our functions, because we're going to need some of those. And then our main loop. Sorry. Okay, save that. Okay, so first off, we want our table for arguments. And some of this I'm going off of just the wiki, some of it I actually understand the theorem behind, but from what I gather, the targs is obviously just a naming standard for table arguments, but this, if I were to do local t equals, this makes a table, but this way actually makes it to where somehow your things that you entered when you called the program become arguments by delimited by a space in between. So if you did something like, you know, mine 4 and 5, it's going to take this one as mine as argument 0, 1, and 2. I'm not sure if that's a Lua thing or if that is a Computercraft thing. Not really sure on which one set that up. I'm pretty sure this is Lua, but I don't know. But yeah, if you want to do an arguments array or a table that holds all your arguments, you do it this way, and the 3 dots make it to where it like gets the user input when you first call the program type of thing. If you want to do user input while the program's running, that's a little different. And I'm sure we'll get to that at some point in one of our scripts that we're trying to write. But for now, that's how you make an argument table. So what else are we going to need? X will be... Oh, this is something that I wanted to test. So first off, we're going to make a test script. And we're going to say... This is going to be table arguments. And then... blah equals to number A1. Huh. Now what I want to do is if blah equals nil, I think it's one word or one L. Print. Oops. Yes. Else print blah. Oh, right. Okay. that's what I wanted to test, is I wanted to see if there was a way to... Sorry, I didn't really explain that at all, my bad. I wanted to see if there was a way to have a alternate branch of logic if they didn't enter a value. So like when we run this excavate command, if there's only an X, then it's going to run like basic excavate, basically. If there is an X and a Y, then it runs based on those. But then if there's no Z, or my bad, I'm not used to X, Z, Y game coordinates, like Z that way, X that way, Y this way. I'm usually used to X, Y, and Z, so I apologize if I say that backwards, but I tend to do that a lot. I think I've even done it in my scripts before, as I program them as X and Y, but it's in Minecraft it really should be Z. But basically, okay, so if I do like mine 5, this is basically just going to do excavate a 5x5 grid. And I'll probably handle that by actually using the shell program to just run excavate at that point. But if you were to do this, then it's going to do an X of 5, 5 this way and 6 that way. So 5 width, 6 height, or length, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. But it's still going to go all the way down to bedrock. But if you were to do like this, then it's going to go 5 that way, 6 that way, and only 4 down. You see what I mean? So that's what I wanted to test with this, was what I did here is I set this up like an argument array that the first argument goes into blah, and then I checked if blah is equal to nil. So if basically a1 equals nothing, it's not even 0, it just doesn't exist, then print this. Otherwise you put something in there. That's what I wanted to see, is if you could do that or if it would cause an error. So we'll get rid of that. So yes, that works. That's awesome. So now I can actually do what I wanted to do. Oh, and how's the... I guess it's still raining. I guess this isn't over yet. And I may change, I think I'll change the from XYZ to length, width, and, length, width, and height. Well, or just X and Z, and I'll just do it the right way. Anyways, so let's do targs. Oh, to number. And the reason I do to number, I don't entirely remember if that's required or if it would be able to figure it out. But I do it that way because technically speaking, I believe when you're entering arguments like this, it's actually going to be a string. So if you just take the targs 1, 2, or 3, it's actually going to put like a string variable or value to them, and that'll screw up your calculating stuff later, eventually. Somewhere down the road. Okay, what else do we need? Let's say... Oh, let's do mode equals 0. What this is gonna do is function get mode, and we're gonna do if mode equal... Oh wait, no. Let's say if C equals nil, then mode equals 1. Else if Z is not equal... Yeah, and I don't know if I've ever done that in my scripts before in this series, but in Lua, not equal is the little tilde squiggly key and the equal sign, whereas C++ and stuff is exclamation point and equal. Just kind of a heads up for anybody. So if this is not equal to nil and y is equal to nil, then we're going to do mode 2. Else if z, not equal to nil, and y is not equal to nil, then mode equals 3. Okay, and then we'll do return mode. So basically what this function does, if you haven't already figured it out, is it's going to go through and pick, okay, because there always has to be an x, basically. Pretty much, anyway. So it's kind of going to do like, x should already have something. If z is equal to nil, then it's going to run the mode 1, which is standard excavate. If z is not equal to nil, but y is, then mode 2 is going to be our width and height, or width and length of different dimensions, but the y is still going to go down to bedrock. And then if the third mode is where you're doing all three specified. So what we'll do is then we'll make another function, and we'll call it, let's see, let's do, let's just say execute. This will be like our main, like, do something. If mode is equal to 1, then I forget how the shell run command works. Let's see. Type, oh, okay, help shell API. Okay, run program and then arguments. Okay, that's okay. So what we're gonna do, aha, it worked. It's a third time. It's a third time. Never did that before. So I think this has actually been perfected. Yep, no errors here. Awesome. So now it'll just run until those 9, whatchamacallits, iodine capsules run out. That's awesome. Oh, I could have used this computer. Poop. You know what? I don't think I've ever tried to copy directly to, directly to an actual computer. I wonder if I can do that or not. What's the ID on this thing? 56. I wonder if this will work. Copy mine to 56. Mine? Maybe? Copy failed. Guess not. Alright, well, I think... Get this out of here. I think I'm actually going to work on this computer while this one's tied up. And then actually see... and I may eventually copy this script over to like that one that's a different computer or something like that. Just so that I don't end up tying my main one up when I want it to rain constantly for the lightning rod. So I'm going to pause for a minute and I'm going to copy everything over to this computer so I can actually use a advanced computer, because they're much easier to work with than the turtle interface. And that way I don't have to do like an external, oh, there's Shredder. Yeah, so I'll be right back. So I don't really know why I made it sound like that would take forever. It took me about a minute, because all I just did was grab the disk drive, copied, and boom, done. I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, there it all is. Good grief. So, yeah, so what I'm gonna do is shell run. Oops. And it said command excavate, and then the arguments, which would be toString x. So I think that should work. If mode equals 2, then else if mode equals 3, then... Okay, so that's... Oh, I need an end clause. So that's our main script part. So what I'll do is let's actually set up a couple other functions here, and this is going to be x excavate xy, and function excavate xyz. Okay, so that's going to be our main functions. And then xyz. Okay, so this is kind of going to end up being our main loop, really. So like our main loop could probably just consist of mode equals get mode and then execute, really. Because it's basically going to store mode here from get mode. And then it's just going to run execute, which is our manager type thing, and it's going to go through and call shell run excavate or excuse me, one of these two. So first, oh, and in case you're wondering why I put these like above this one, I don't know if it's affected in Lua or Computercraft or anything, but usually if you don't have the script that's being called in another function above it, then the computer hasn't already compiled it when it gets to here. So like if I had these down here, it would get to here usually and be like, what's this? Because I don't know what this is. And then because it's down below where this part's being compiled. I don't know if that's the case, but in standard, like non-computer craft, regular, just like C++ programming and stuff like that, it can happen where the computer doesn't understand because the prototype or the function isn't above it. So usually, if something doesn't call another function, they go up top, and then if something calls a function, then it goes below that so that it's already been compiled. Before we get working on these, what I want to do is set up, again, I'm going to put that up here, I think, the inventory manager. And I may borrow that. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I may borrow that from another turtle. I don't think it was that difficult. Did I have... was it Fill Floor? Did I think had it in there? Oh, it was the shift. It's basically what I'm looking for. So, okay, local empty equals false. Okay, so let's do full equals false. Select the first slot if the slot... Okay, well, we're going to start with slot 2. The reasoning behind that is that the way I'm going to set this up is that slot 1 is going to be the ender chest always. So yeah, I don't want it to do that. This isn't exactly what I wanted. It was a little bit more in depth than. Oh, another lightning. What's up? Okay, I may just end up doing this differently from scratch. So let's do get item count. Oh. No, I don't actually need to do this because that was a different. I was trying to do something different. Let's do a for loop. I equals 2 to 16. Now, if turtle item count is greater than 0, then let's see, what do I want to do? It's full equals true, right? Because if, yeah, okay. And then we'll do else, whoop. Turtle get item count. Well, I don't really need that because that's the alternative. If it's not greater than 0, it's equal to 0. Else, full equals false, and break. Return full. I'm gonna have to. I think I'm gonna end the episode here. I'm going to double check this script because I know I've done something similar to this in a previous in one of my other turtle scripts. This was not the right script that I was looking for, actually. So I'm going to check the other scripts and stuff in between this episode and the next one, and then we'll continue our revised version of Excavate. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a like, all that stuff. All that good stuff that helps us out. And I'll see you all next time. Bye!